America is very good at living in the myth of America. You can't train away bias. You can't train away bigotry. He knows that he can step on the line where freedom of speech is, and that the Supreme Court will not slap his hand away.
And those people haven't given Black people reparations. That needs to be addressed. We are living in literal serfdom. This is like a new medieval happening. This impacts everybody in the United States.
They cannot stand us to have anything.
Once they have established this as a precedent, they are going up, they are going shade.
Has nothing to do with the American people.
Nothing.
It's all about power.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team, reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world in 2022 and 2021. And we're working on that number again this year. So as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. It's been a minute since we've had State of Things, 2 weeks. My goodness. And I was even saying over that, was it a week or 2 weeks? I don't even know how long. I was itching to reach out and say, ladies, we got to do something because there's so much going on. But I held my peace because I have a feeling tonight could be, I'm speaking, this is going to be probably one of the longest conversations we have on State of Things. There is so much going on. And unfortunately, we don't have Aisha with us tonight. She's celebrating, I think it's her grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what's happening. So a few things before we bring LaLa and Jill up, or me, I'll do, everyone, they want to see the ladies, so they don't care about me. So let me just bring them up because I'm just the appetizer in all this craziness. So let us bring to the stage Jill Jones. Let us bring to the stage LaLa. What's going on, ladies?
Oh, it's good. Everything's good.
Jill, you're muted.
Am I?
No, you're not. No, you're not. How you doing, Jill D?
Pretty good. Good.
Good to see you both.
Everybody have a nice rest?
Yeah, well, I guess it's a rest, but so much. I'm beginning to think it's going to be very hard for us to take 2 weeks away anymore. Because, I think we, even in between, we have to do short little things because there's so much that's gone on and continuing to go on.
I know.
Crazy.
That it's like, and I said, we got to fit some of the stuff we're not going to chat about tonight in the warm-up, or we call the appetizer. But look who's here. Jen Myers says,
Hey, Jen.
hello, everyone. Fitness IQ Cam. Good evening. And she goes, I'm about to have my popcorn. Send me some Fitness IQ Cam. I'm telling you. So missed you both. I also miss Aisha also. She's not with us, but
Yes.
miss y'all. We are back. There is so much has been going on, and we've got about 4 or 5 conversation topics. There's stuff that I want to even chat with the ladies before we even get into those topics. First things first, have any of you joined Threads?
I did.
I did.
Oh.
Yes, I did. And I like it. I'm just so right now I'm like trying to figure out what I'm going to post. I haven't posted one thing because I'm just trying to, figure it out.
Okay, so you're on Threads.
Yes, of course.
I know Lala's on Threads. I didn't even ask about that.
Yeah, but I learned something today that I probably should have read those terms of service first.
And what did you learn?
Well, Zuck is really good about they worried about TikTok. They need to be worried about Zuck. He actually has permission to your health information on your phone as well. And there was an initial clause that said that if you deleted your thread, you would also lose your account.
Your Instagram,
Your Instagram. And that has since changed. But I really do wish I would have. I'm so sick of Twitter. I really wish I would have read those terms before I just said okay.
But why don't you just turn your health stuff off on your phone? There's
because I with losing 130 pounds, my watch, my health, my phone is everything for my tracking. So
that's because KI now is
able. Lost 130 pounds.
Yes, sir, I have.
Talk to me. I didn't know about this.
Yes, I was 285 pounds. And right before the pandemic, I was getting ready to turn 50. And I said to myself, no, sir, I'm going to get this weight off because I want to do something else with my life. And I got determined about it. And so all during the pandemic, I worked out. I did everything I needed to do. I lost my weight in a year's time.
What was the secret?
Just watching my portions and moving my body. And I got rid of sweets. I don't really eat sweets.
You know what? Anymore. I have a little bit of a sweet tooth, and I'm really I'm really saying, you know what? I got to really just cut it all out.
Well, for those who are on Discord, I will show you my before pictures so you'll see what I look like.
Oh, and what you're so good media savvy. What a lovely segue. So before we go any further, let's talk about it. And please like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also, please like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and LinkedIn. And as important, there have been there are at least 3 to 4 more people that are now part of the Discord family. Actually, one of the gentlemen, Eddie, is from Australia.
Oh, nice.
Yes, who has chimed in, but there's a number. I know who came in the last little bit. I can't remember, but some of you have come on, and the conversation there is fire. Actually, Fitness IQ and I were chatting this week. I said, you haven't been in the Discord group a week. And she goes, yeah, I went on today. I haven't been on in a week. I got so much catching up to do. She said. So I'm telling you, join the Discord group. Lots of people chiming in. So if you want to join the group, email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And I'm going to mention at least 2 or 3 other times during the conversation, because it seems when I mention it, you have to go for it. And yes, absolutely. Okay, so the messages are coming in. Okay, hold on. Okay, so Regina says, what's the delay here? Hey. Good to see you, everyone. Fitness IQ Cam says, but you can't change your mind if you want to delete it. I don't know, maybe. But now she says, oh, I'm glad they changed it. So our social media expert online, LaLa, is there. And Jen, so happy that you're feeling better. Yes. Definitely. Yes. So, and Jen's, correct me if I'm wrong, Jen, that's the 3rd procedure you've had this year. Oh my gosh.
We've been in good juju, so you don't have to do it again.
I know.
Exactly. Yeah. Also from the north of the 49th, Frequency Event Promotion says, hello, good stuff. Cinnamon Canela goes, E-Punk is the latest to join, I believe. Yes. I think, yeah, he's from Australia.
I need a tutorial on how to see everybody on this thing.
I can help you. We can do that offline. Offline.
Yeah, it's just so scattered for me. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
No problem. Cinnamon Canela goes, hello, everyone. Blue Rains is in the house. Yeah, good Blue Rains. Yes, Jen goes, yes, the 3rd this year. 7 altogether. Jen, what? Wow.
Alkaline water doesn't help. Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, my sister suffers from them.
Yeah, we got to chat about doing the health thing on the Discord piece. So Frequency goes, please explain the Discord piece, please. Well, it's ironic because another gentleman who I somewhat listened to, who had over 400,000 followers on Instagram, got his account deleted this week.
What? On what?
Yeah. We'll
On
talk about this.
Instagram?
He got his Instagram and his Facebook deleted, done, gone.
How?
He was talking a little bit about immigration, had some thoughts in it, and they deleted it completely.
Yeah, they're not playing
about 400,000 followers.
Yeah.
Gone.
Oh.
Gone. Yeah. So this goes back to a little while back. Jill, twice in 1 month, was suspended from Twitter.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? That ain't right. So about a little over a year ago, I had an intern, one of the interns I brought on. I asked them, what's the best way for me to communicate with you? And he said, Discord. I go, what's that?
Right.
So,
I know, right? These young kids.
So he told me about it, and I said, I never really became mind aware about it, but I said, okay, when this happened, the judge said, okay, we have to have a more, I wouldn't say, I guess, another place other than Twitter, especially what's been going on with Twitter. Now, since especially Elon is now sued Zuck about the Threads thing, but it's interesting. There are some former employees of Twitter who are working at Meta.
I just love watching it. I love it.
So I said, okay, let's just start this Discord group, and it's new, it's different, but I like it. I really like it. And definitely, Jill, I'm going to message you out, and we're going to go through a little bit. I don't know everything about it, but just the fundamentals, you'll be able to get through it. And I like how the emojis, you can put videos. Actually, you can actually do voice stuff on it if you want to send voice messages, only through your phone, though at the present time, not through desktop or laptop, but just a different place to go. Just get away. So I know there's the Threads thing, but I like the Discord thing. Jen says, darn kidney stones, I drink a ton of water.
But I was wondering if the keeping an alkaline climate in the body, if that even helps. I know that I had thought, like, when my cat had like a couple of like stones or something, that alkaline water would work. And the doctor had said for her, he was like, no, cats need an acidic environment. Don't give your cats alkaline water. It's not good. They need acidic body, environment. And so, when I can, I drink alkaline water just to, get rid of the acid in my body. Because I used to have kidney infections a lot when I was a little girl. So it was strange. I mean, and also I was into like sodas for a long time.
That was one thing I gave up. I haven't had a soda in over 4 years now.
Don't you like those like fake with the fake sugars? They're bad for you too. Apparently, they make you crave.
I got rid of that too because I was really afraid of all that mess.
Well, and I drink the low cal. I'm a big fan of low cal grapefruit juice, but that's the fake sugar in it. So is that not good either, LaLa?
No, it is not. Matter of fact, the WHO has just come out. The National Health Organization has come out against aspartame and sucralose. And and that they're saying that aspartame is a carcinogenic, and then the sucralose is just not good for you. It gives you leaky gut and everything like that. So it's just not.
Amongst the other things they've approved that give us leaky gut. I mean, they got a lot of fucking nerve to do it now.
I know now.
After they made all their money.
Exactly.
Don't even get me started.
Well, it doesn't take much too, so I know you already started. Jen says, no tea, no spinach either. Bad for the stones.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Didn't know that at all. So frequency of event promotions goes, is Discord similar to WhatsApp?
No. It's a platform. We're all talking.
It's
a community. It's a community type app.
It's like Slack, but we're all talking. It's sort of like Monday or Slack, but without appointments.
And not only that, but I'll just be honest. The only reason I use WhatsApp right now is to communicate with people in other countries. That's because for me, I'm going to be honest, I get so much junk on WhatsApp. There's so much stuff and it's people who are forwarding me stuff, or I've been put on other mailing lists, which I haven't given people permission to do. I get stuff sent to me. I just So Cinnamon Canela goes, best alkaline water you can make is fresh squeezed lemon on it and everyday water intake.
Yeah, okay. That's the first thing I drink in the morning is a cup of water with lemon.
Okay. Well, family,
room temp.
Keep on providing, especially again, go to the Discord group and provide your suggestions.
But back to the whole thing about the threads and your health app. I don't put my health stuff on my app at all, on my phone. I just, I know we have some apps that come in like for insurance and they're on my phone, and it's totally like, I don't do those either anymore. I don't want to see my tests. I don't need to be doing it through the phone. So I'll go on my desktop if I have to.
Okay. So Fitness, so I can't message you. You can message me on WhatsApp because I've been driven to use it now, but I'm not addicted to it. Like to be
I'm
honest,
using it more and more just because I need
back and forth. Absolutely. Well, you're in a different country. Fully get it. Fully understand it. But I do it. I do it reluctantly because I said I get so much junk on it. Like
the crazy.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was no, I didn't want to change the subject, but I was just going to say the one real weird thing is that AI can detect what diseases you have from your voice.
Yes. I've seen those. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Jen, so again, a supporter, Jen says, love Discord.
Our big supporter.
Yes. So again, I'm driving it home, family. Join this state of things. Actually,
Jen always puts in a lot of like topics, things that we miss. So it's good to see what's going on.
Well, you know what? I'm actually running a little competition because another one of the conversations I host, the Morning Vibe, on Monday and Friday mornings at 9 a.m. I'm saying, okay, I started a Morning Vibe Discord group. We only have a few members, and then I show what's going on the State of Things Discord group. I say, people, you got some catching up to do. And actually, I have 2 or 3 people now that have said they want to become part of both rooms.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So we are working it. So I think we have to get to some topics. So let me just check one other thing before Fitness IQ Ken goes backside. Okay. All right. We've bantered enough, and now it probably is going to be a 2-hour conversation. We've been bantering for the last little bit. So let's start off with the conversation topics. And this is one of these 2 things, which is actually one thing, major thing that happened since we've been gone. The U.S. Supreme Court ended affirmative action for colleges and strikes down student loan forgiveness plan. So where do we want? This is going to be a few minutes. Where do we want to? There's so many different aspects on this. Who wants to go in? Who wants to go in first?
I want to go in just because I don't even have the words to say about Clarence Thomas, but he is the most despicable, self-loathing, self-hating man that has the most power that we really need to be paying close attention to. Anita Hill, for one, never lied. She always told the truth. He is self-hating, and he has benefited from everything that he is voting against. He's doing everything in his power because he can to now punish the people who he feels has punished him during life. And the fact that he has so much self-hate for himself, and we're all feeling the wrath of it. First of all, affirmative action doesn't just, people think it's for minorities, but the main people who benefit from it are white women. And they're going to feel the wrath of this. And when it starts hitting their guts, and when it starts hitting their households, then there's going to be an upcry. Because as long as it's okay to get things away from from minorities, oh yes, we're all for it. But what they don't see is they haven't done their homework to see if it even touches their household, and it does. So this is going to be a massive trickle effect. It is definitely going to hurt our communities as well. It's opened the doors to so many other things that are getting ready to be, we're going to get pretty much shit on. That's all I can say. All of us are going to be that way. But for him to vote this way is disgusting. And so I dug into his history a little bit. There's a wonderful podcast that tells so much about his history.
You're reading my alleged mind, because I want to get into some of that.
You need to hear that.
I've heard a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to let Jill, what do you have to say initially? Then I want to talk about Mr. Clarence Thomas.
I mean, I think that I don't really understand all of the aspects or the little nuances about affirmative action, because for, I guess, the last 5 decades, it's been creaking along, particularly the last 20 years. I would say people knew this was coming up. There was a lot of myths attached to who the people were that were benefiting from it. I mean, and suddenly, like, it had just become like, you know, people wanting to make it seem like it's welfare, people sitting on welfare, and all of a sudden the government is handing them these scholarships to go to college. And you have to understand, these are also poor white people looking at it from their purview, and they never even walked near a college campus either. So all of these crazy stories about the haves and the have-nots and the benefactors and this one and that one, most of it was myth. It was a myth.
Yes.
Because if you really look at the whole reality of how many Black people there are, I think in what we make up is 14%, and of the population in America, I think the youth right now are only at 15, come in at a 15% inside whatever their group is going to be of the kids at their age brackets ready to go to college. Out of the 14, if people can follow this, that go into the next 100% only of the vast amount of kids at the age of 15 taking LSATs or not taking LSATs, taking SATs and whatever, you've got the population, which is only like a 15%. There were rumors back in those days that have always supported that, you know, scholarships go to Spanish people, that Black people get different kinds of scholarships for their sports and all of this kind of stuff. And it's so interesting. And then white people would always just be like, and we get nothing. So all of these myths that they kept perpetuating in campaigns and the Republican parties and stuff, basically what they've done is they wanted to create that dissension. And a lot of these people, of the ones who are even going to go to college, it's like, it's nil, let alone fucking Harvard. Okay. So Harvard in itself, I think 3 years ago, 6% of the people of their group, only 6% were African-American. And of that African-American, there was a running joke in Harvard that they were all foreign Black kids, like Caribbean descent of that order, not really from here. So it's really a very bizarre notion too. So it's not like affirmative action was really helping the poor, impoverished kid in the poor community. In fact, it really was just skipping right over them completely. And it's a non-issue for them, to be honest. And so Clarence Thomas knew that in his argument between class and race and all of these things, there's a really fine, thin line, a fine thread. And you could really fuck this whole thing up. The people that I blame the most, they could, you know, he could fuck the argument up, because you're going, Sotomayor had ruled a few months back about class and race and subterfuge and all this other craziness, which only therefore made everyone in the case like look at it, well, is it class, or is it, you know, is this the diversity that we want? Are we getting the diversity that we are talking about? So
are we going to get the rich or sort of middle class rich black kids? And middle class black kids were kind of getting passed over. They were also getting legacy black parents, and then but they would like discount like black cents and things like this. So it's kind of a mixed bag how this went down, and you have both sides screaming and yelling about who it isn't going to benefit. But the saddest part is of who it never benefited. And the reality is the reason it, as is with so many things, that the Democrats or liberals didn't keep looking under their bed for the monster, because the monster started to like grow and grow and grow. And it was a situation, affirmative action just needed a good shaking. And when those tiger moms got a hold of it, the Asian community, they were put in place by lobby groups to say, well, my son from Burma is not getting in, or my son from China is not getting in, and he has all this merit and all this blah, blah, blah. So the cage and the stage was rattled, and it was set for it to be undermined. And it's really a shame that our people were not really pushing forth that. We also forgot people in our own community, the poor.
Sure did.
Who should have been benefiting from this, and they weren't. They really weren't, because even out of some of when you look at the SATs that they said were being passed in the last, 5 years or so, very few African-American kids were even scoring over 1,200.
Okay, so going to stop. We're broadcasting a little bit of this on Instagram Live. Greetings to Just Perveen. Greetings to Dr. LJ Speaks. Greetings to the dying thief. Thank you. Dying Thief would love to have you on the Dr. Vibe show. So reach out to me via IG. Dr. LJ Speaks says about Clarence Thomas, don't put no respect on his name. He is not worthy of respect.
No.
So I'm going to just shut it down on Instagram now. If you want to catch the rest of the live conversation or the repeat, go to the Dr. Vibe show on YouTube. And as always, remember to give yourself grace. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Check us on YouTube later. Okay, so a few other things here. We can talk more about Clarence Thomas or more about affirmative action. What more do we want to go on? Because we're definitely going to talk some more about both. Do you want to talk about Clarence?
I can't. He makes me physically ill.
So okay. So
I think you can't talk about him. No, I don't think we can talk about anything without talking about him, because
that's true.
He is so crucial right now to the dismantling of all of our marginal gains. It's imperative that people know the reality and the facts of what he is undermining, intentionally undermining.
So here we go. Some facts some people may not know about Clarence Thomas. First of all, when he was growing up, guess what person he had a poster of in his room?
Vanity.
No, a fame. In some ways, that would make sense, but that's another conversation. A gentleman who was a very noted civil rights.
No, he probably have Apollonia.
Yeah. Okay. Very much a man who was known as a civil rights leader who wore glasses in the 1960s. Frequency Event Promotions got it right. He actually, when he was growing up, had a poster of Malcolm X in his room.
Yes. And he also was very involved in doing a lot of marching and going to things to get the rights for Black people.
And was at one time married to a Black woman.
Yes, he was.
Yes, and had a child.
Yes,
and also benefited from affirmative action getting into Yale.
Yeah.
But he refuses to say that he got in because of that, even though Yale did come out and say he did benefit from affirmative action.
He is thinking about that dick he had to suck to get into that school.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't consider it.
My goodness. All right.
I don't disagree.
That's why he's bitter Betty.
Bitter Betty. So
Harlan Crow owes him. They do it every
I'm just
week,
putting
right?
facts out there about Clarence Thomas. I think that so we have questions here, comments here. Frequency Event Promotion says, how does the end of affirmative action impact on non-melanated people? Please unpack some more. I think both ladies have done that, but I think even more so that there's enough disparity, and I'm just speaking outside of the United States, in education in the United States as it is before college and university. It's gonna get worse, and
It's going to get
Well,
worse.
You're so right, because the one thing about this, and in all kidding aside about my thing about Clarence, just for entertainment purposes only, guys, what I said, um, the you have to understand that it never stops with this GOP.
No.
One step in the door is proof of what they're really going for. So if they're going for to remove this whole diversity thing, that means that financial aid will therefore be changed as well. There will be
Yes.
rules, like it's all going to get wiped out, because they basically are saying we don't want anything to be race-based on your race, however, or the fact that you're a woman. It is so interesting because guys, I not to change the subject here, but as a person who's 60, I'll be 61 this year. I think, there's a point where you start to look at your life as you get older, and you're thinking about what you would like to do to make the world a better place. It's always interesting. It's become very, very interesting to me. Like, are we like the only people who think like this? Because sadly, rich people, they get worse as they get older. It's like they want it, they know, and they're ready to live forever, kill your babies, steal their hearts, eat whatever they have to stay there. And it's like the Republicans and the whatever they're doing, they are all here to almost, at least they think they're going to outrun the clock. And so for me, it's astounding. So we look at someone like Clarence Thomas and go, why wouldn't you want to make the world a better place? Why did you pull the ladder up behind you when you got to your destination?
Because you go.
That's what he did. And
exactly.
He has no intention, of doing anything, nothing. And it's really, really horrible because the whole thing about this whole thing, the decisions, and already saying that we're not going to do race-based affirmative action, totally threw all admissions and scholarships in utter disarray.
Well, I also got to say, and this is, what is this impact going to be on the private sector?
Employment. What's it going to be for?
There you go.
All of it. You basically set up a thing the other day where you could say, I don't want to serve you if I don't like you or your color or whatever. Yes. And now I don't have to educate you. I don't have to hire you. Yeah. Why would a country in 2023 do that? Like, we can talk rings around a butthole. Okay. That's all they're doing. That's all lawyers do all day long. It's their job to find another ring, to find another something to go, and to flip it. But that's got to stop. There's some things that are black and white. Sorry for the pun. Regardless of them not wanting it to be such. We are in a bad situation that the lawyers have taken over, and they have destroyed this country. There's no common sense anymore.
Well, sense is not common. So let's catch up on things. Look who is joining the house. Dr. Tachi, host of Mediascope, the livest program about media, tech, pop culture, on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on IG, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, other things. Let me pull out some other things also here. If FAFSA gets eliminated, shake my head. I don't know what that acronym is. Does anyone?
FAFSA. FAFSA it's the student aid, the financial aid.
Right.
Okay. All right. Question here from Twitch. Is it more about race or more about a free ride?
There is no free ride.
There is no free ride.
I was just talking about the myths. What don't you get? It's a myth what you've been told by some fucking dumb hillbillies that were just resentful because they couldn't get 3 teeth together to, do more than punch holes or snap donuts in a fucking factory. I'm sorry. I'm over it. when you were given affirmative action, you still had to have some qualifying redemptive abilities to be in that place. I mean, I used to give to a school in Brooklyn. It was one thing to have these incredibly amazing African-American children being in a charter school, but the difficulty remained when they would be accepted to something like Spelman or Stanford. You know what the difficulty was? How are we going to help them to live there, to go to school? They can't afford it. There's nothing throwing. People think people are pissing out scholarships every which way and about. That is so ignorant. It is the most ignorant thing. It takes a whole entire village, even more so now, to send a kid to school, to get him in the dorm. Maybe he can't be in the dorm, or he has to have a side part-time job. There are tons. Get involved. You want to know, you want to have an answer to the questions, people. Get involved. Find out. You would maybe
start at your local level.
Yeah, you might have a better solution.
Look at the upper level. Look at your local level.
A free ride? Oh, please. Affirmative action is not a free ride. They still have to pay back their loans.
Yes.
I don't get it. Why are
and then the fact is 40%, and this was in 2020, I believe, and I was pulling up this report, 40% of Harvard's underrepresented minority students that got offered admission would have made it also without, but still yet, if they made it on those other merits, you still can't afford it.
Right.
So it's all hand in hand. So what's the difference if you can't get in, if you can't afford it? See, part of affirmative action also helped with that because it came up with the lending. Then you can qualify for the Pell Grants and the other things that were being offered. Now that's going to be off the table.
But it comes to other things. Well, first of all, let's address the simple fact of one thing that America did that was amazingly dirty. And I'll do that in a minute. My whole point about when you're determining with affirmative action and your diversity levels. So you have Harvard's theater department or Yale's department. How do you determine which one you're going to take who's a doctor or ability versus you're looking at more? There's amazingly incredible, talented kids out there. They write great essays, they whatever. It's got to be more for me than your class or your race. It has to be about what comes across on that paper. There is nothing worse than a bunch of bookworms coming into a room and that's all you do, because the problem here is capitalism again. We have our universities are dependent on rich people to fund them. And this is why it says a lot more about why capitalism is failing and more than anything else. It says everything. Everything is about this. And the whole thing is another thing with those student loans, why it's a really critical thing. Don't forget, the government sold a lot of people's student loans at one point, and they've gone into private sectors. So they weren't even able to get redemption from, I'm going to pay some of your stuff off. These are people who've had their loans for like 30 or 40 years. Yes. And the government sold their Sallie Mae stuff to private people, private hedge funds. And so they will pay until the day they freaking die. Because when Joe Biden says, and all these people are like, get rid of your loans, they're not getting rid of everybody's loans. There are people. There's a dentist that I know. She's fucking 55 and she lives in a studio apartment. She's been paying off her loan forever because it's private. She'll
probably die paying off.
And she will die paying it off.
Well, and that's okay. So I'm just isn't it sad? There are a number of people like that are gonna have less worth when they die than a new birth person in America.
And they want people to keep having babies. America wants your kids for why. You got to say, why would you want to bring a kid here?
All right. So let me catch up there. So there's a whale of comments coming in here. So let me catch up. Frequency Event Promotions has a question. Also, too, ladies, if you want to get involved in the chat, you can also. I'll say some questions. Okay. Regina says, the free application for federal student aid is a form completed by current and prospective college students in the United States to determine their eligibility for student financial aid. Thank you for their clarification. Regina, though, says, but it is a really quick way to get financial aid if you apply early. I taught 12th grade for decades in a low-income district. It really helps. I think free community college is a good option.
Yeah.
Regina also says, kids, I got $100,000 computer gigs with AS degrees, no loans. Now, here's someone who really would know about this, because Dr. Tachi is a tenured professor. And Dr. Tachi, if you want to come on, you're more than welcome to contribute. She says people don't often address cognitive dissonance that comes from people thinking you are the only there because of, quote, a free ride, unquote. In reality, you far surpass their skills. She continues on, but you always have to make a way out of no way. I wonder why people who have had everything all their lives are not successful. You have no excuse.
Bloody excuse. And she's absolutely right.
She's
I mean,
so on it.
It's like it's the tomfoolery that people believe that it's a free ride is crazy to me, because really, I mean, these are people who.
This rides to another conversation piece revolving around this. Why is American college education so expensive?
So expensive. Because it can be, and they see some kind of way to get back.
Because they found a way to launder money through that shit. You know, that's the whole thing. Rich people make donations. It's and they get better tax write-offs for doing it. It's just it is charity. It is public charity, and we have to stop that in America, because any kind of altruism here is not altruism in America. It's not. It's a statue and a nice big refund on your check, on your taxes. Yep. It is not. It's been set up for that. So they found a way to funnel. Rich people found a way to put a wing on something, to donate something at the hospital. You know, the problem is that they started, capitalism forces everybody to have to make everything a profit sector. And there are some things in civilization that I don't believe should be a profit sector. For fucking instance, go look at Instagram right now, and everybody's got their kids on there doing a little tap dance and a giggle and a this. That baby has to be a profit sector. You don't understand that American people, the slavery never went away. They just figured out how to enslave everybody besides the black folks. I mean, white people have got to be the dumbest. They may be the highest in it, but it's all still, what was that? Animal Farm. It's still Animal Farm. So y'all can think you better than everybody else, but all the bitches in this nation, white, black, green, yellow, brown, are slaves, enslaved. Based upon the fact, go try to see how much it costs when you decide to give up your citizenship. You pay to get out of this bitch, just like you've been jumping.
You sure do. Yes, you
got to get jumped out.
All right, I'm going to catch up with some more comments and some questions. As I said, I have a feeling we're going to have a long conversation tonight, because we ain't get okay. So let's continue on. Frequency Event Promotion says entrepreneurship is changing the direction of the world now. I think with everything going up, like milk, eggs, and bacons, except the wages, people are taking more responsibility for their financial wealth. Also,
they can't. I have to address that. They can't. That's a joke. With entrepreneurship, you know, I'm starting to meet everybody who's a brand. There are people who really make great employees, by the way, in this world. There are people who are great bosses, and they should be. Not everybody is an entrepreneur. Like I said in that real estate game, everybody's house can't be worth fucking $1 million.
Right.
Sorry. This is the problem here. And all this entrepreneurish BS here, the game, has caused a lot of deregulation and a lot of lack of oversight on things in the banking systems and everything. They've allowed so much to go on that they've actually forgotten laws that have been instituted for some of these entrepreneurships to not even exist. To me, it's been a sad day for this entrepreneurship. Yeah, it's like, please, everybody becomes a hustle, a gig, a grift, a money thing. And I can't believe that a nation allows its people to have to be that. Do you understand what happens to the introverts in our society with all of this? Some people are not built to be out there. Hey, $5, get you 10, 20. Not everybody's built that way. And I find it incredibly disrespectful and disgusting that we do not look out for people in our society of all varieties, of all different temperaments. It's wrong. It's no wonder our suicide rates are going off the charts, because we have created a very unsustainable lifestyle in America.
Okay, let's continue on. Regina says also, yes, entrepreneurship is bypassing kids going to college in some cases, but are the YouTube influencers a sustainable career? No, it's not.
No,
It's not.
there's no way. Because for one, most of the people who want to be these YouTube stars, they're buying these products of other people, and this is how this gets fed. We'll give you something free. We're gonna have come on in and talk to our seminar. Okay, our product. Okay, the next level is only $50. Give us $50, and we'll give you the next secret. Then finally, before you know it, you've spent $5,000, $10,000, and you still don't have the information that you need. It is a very slim chance that you will be able to get any kind of monetization off of these platforms if you don't know what you're doing and you're not
I know
working
that
24/7 on it.
As it's like people who come to me saying, "Oh, I want to start a podcast." I go, "Yeah." I said, "Then I want to make money." I say, "Quit now." That's what I tell them. Quit now. Okay.
PJ Harvey had a song that I still go by, and the lyric was "The whore's hustle and the hustler's whore." And that is where our society is. And there is a reason it's not PC to say whore anymore, but there are some words that should not be thrown out because that word says everything what everybody's doing. Everybody, from the minute you wake up, you're whoring yourself.
Yeah.
On some level.
All
to
right.
live in America.
More comments coming here. So Fitness IQ says, I respect that, Jill. Also Fitness IQ Cam says this. I agree with you, Jill. Not everyone can be an entrepreneur. Bosses need employers. Yes. However, anyone can be an investor.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are people who like to be worker bees.
I know. Yeah. What would the queen be without? But in this day and age, it'd be like every bee walked off the job.
Okay. Exactly. Frequency of event promotions has getting back to the affirmative action. Do you think affirmative action is ending because the enrollment of new students is at an all-time low? I don't think so.
No. This is all about power again, guys. Power.
40% is still legacy. My God, 40% Harvard would be fine. The problem is we don't have that many rich Black people in America. Do their kids go to college? They all seem to want to shake their asses and dance as far as I can see. I ain't seen hardly any rich Black folks' kids grow and want to go to college. Oh, maybe Tyra Banks went and paid for her own self, but do our kids? No, they seem to be on stage as soon as they can. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Help your kids make empires outside of go to school. No, they got to put them on stage.
Okay, so let's go. Mm-hmm. Regina says, and why are colleges allowed to sit on billion-dollar endowments?
Because it's all about power. So they can have these fancy cotillions and they can have their super dinners and they all can shake hands and do the high sign. And then they all get into bed together and they all help one another. That's all that is.
And those endowments and those alignments help them to have access to other people within this whole, I'd say clique. It's just that education stuff. It's like that. It's just a front. It's like you pay for that access. Sitting on that money still affords you a lot to get favors done.
Next up, GZ, I don't know how to pronounce it forever. Will this decision force the federal government to withdraw funding to HBCUs? Good question.
I don't think they should. They owe Black people still. So I'm sorry. The federal government needs to keep it separate. They need to keep this separate.
It's all going to trickle down. Things are going to be
What the colleges, what the universities do is one thing. But the money that's going for the HBCUs, I'm sorry, they still owe them. And it ain't over. It ain't over. Okay. It ain't over. Like Lenny Kravitz said, it ain't over till it's over.
All
and
right.
We ain't said it's over yet.
Introverts are good investors too, Regina says.
Yes.
And Fitness IQ Cam says, yes, building that empire. I think if melanated people in America really want to take advantage of this is a time for opportunity.
Yes.
Excuse me, because how much better have things been with affirmative action. First of all, allegedly the target of people that were supposed to benefit it weren't the people who benefited from it the most. So this is a time, if melanated people really want to take action, this is it. This is the time, because you're not going to get any support. So you got to find a way. And I know, Joe, you don't like this word hustlers, but we've been hustling for 400 years. Right. And I think that,
I
yeah,
don't
so
dislike the word. I just feel like, I don't feel that that's what this ruling was. I think that they saw what happened here in California, where I think we got rid of affirmative action in 1998.
yes,
And
yes,
unfortunately, I mean, you go over to UCLA and it's very Asian dominated. It's very imbalanced. I mean, they don't even have a good tennis team anymore. Sorry to say, it's like other things just sort of went by the wayside, and the value of the school. I mean, it's great for medicine and all of these other, it's known for what it's known for. But unfortunately, they saw that experiment, and now they're just like going for, you have to have the money to come in here and you need to have the highest ratings to get in here. That's what they want. And it looks like, unfortunately, they saw the experience, and it's sad because there isn't much diversity in the universities out here for African American people.
Frequency Event Promotion says, so did I hear that entrepreneurship is not for everyone and it's not an avenue to financial freedom?
No, it isn't. Why would you think that it's for everyone? Is every
it's not for
pie,
everyone.
is everything?
I don't think it's
kidding?
I don't put my opinions in a lot, but it is not for everyone, because you got to realize something. I'll just say, at least Western society, when you're born, your parents tell you what to do. When you go to school, your teacher tells you what to do. When you go to work, your boss tells you what to do. So some people are just programmed and wired.
Some people
for that.
are okay with, and you know what?
Yes.
I'm not going to shame people who want that life. Some people wanted to live in a country where they could wake up and, plan on what, this is what I do. I go, I apply for jobs, I do this, I come home, I take care of my family.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? If everybody knew we've all got to be like, hustling, it's a little bit primitive. It's a little bit fucked up to do it in the middle of our own, like where we've been, where people have already established their lives, and now you take the rug out from under them and you have no backups here. It's like, at least while Switzerland has been talking about, or Europe has been talking about people expanding their knowledge or abilities, they're talking about universal basic incomes to give them more education. So if we do make a shift in society, it's here. We're going to cushion this a little bit, but not here. It's like, let's rip you off. Let's be like the Wild West. It's fucking insane. But I laugh every day to see that the world can finally see what this country has been built on. And why it's not sustainable is because of its previous actions. This is its thought process. And it's got people believing the hype. This is no different than the Wild West. And
but
it's
the second part to what Frequency is saying that needs to be addressed too. So did he or she hear that entrepreneurship is not for everyone? We addressed that.
Yes.
Two, it's not an avenue to financial freedom. No, your question is not making sense, because yes, entrepreneurship can be an avenue for financial freedom. Not everyone can do it. No, not everybody wants to.
Nobody
so
wants to
there
work
are
18
two different
hours
things
a
that you're
day.
asking there that don't make any sense. Like, if you want to go after it, by all means, go for it. Okay, I've lived both sides. Okay, I've done the corporate thing, and here I am on my own doing things on my own. But it's not for everyone. I was one of the first people in real estate to get into video. Do you know when the pandemic happened, people were coming to me like, oh my God, help, can you show me how? Guess what? Pay me, because I did the homework. I was out here doing this in the streets before, but some people just thought, okay, I can get in front of camera. So no, it's not for everyone, but it can be an avenue to financial freedom to those who have the qualifications.
Okay. One last thing I'll add. We'll talk a little bit about the rejection now of student loans being lightened.
This is bullshit.
Okay.
Because you know why? Because these PPP loan people all got their millions and billions of dollars that are sitting up there in Congress, but they don't want to help the American people. I'm sick of them. They need to go. The people like MGT, I mean, they got millions of dollars that got forgiven. And you are talking about the American people who are struggling, can barely eat. There is no middle class. You either have or you have not nowadays. And for them to sit up there and do these things to us who they're supposed to be representing is disgusting.
Okay. I will say the greatest detriment to many, especially I'd say 18 to 40-year-old melanated Americans, is student loans.
Yes.
And it's going to impact not only their generation, but generations to come, because most of them will have families, and student loans, the whole student loan crisis has wiped out great potential for melanated Americans. All I gotta say.
But I see it all the time in real estate.
Of course, you
y'all.
see it in real estate.
With the loans, you know, when people are getting their mortgage, you know, the number one thing that usually crushes them, it's not credit. It's the debt to ratio. And where does the debt come from? Student loans.
And then told by a system that says, get a good education and you'll get a good job.
I mean,
okay, hold on a second. Now we are going to go for 2 hours because look who's here.
Oh, wow. Hi.
Hey.
Now we are going for 2 hours.
Oh, okay. If you want me to drop because of that, no problem.
Everyone, this is the wonderful, beautiful, talented, vivacious Dr. Tachi, who I say is the host of Mediascope on Wednesdays, plus is launching Indie Soup Network, which you all got to be a part of, and which you're going to see a lot of this content on her platform. Dr. Tachi, welcome. And I think there is no other better person we can have talk about
this. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, Dr. Tachi, the digital floor is yours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So see, you just dropped the digital bomb in my lap. What? As I was trying to get on, what was the last talking point? That's what I.
Well, basically, how student loans, especially for melanated Americans, is being the biggest hindrance to financial freedom, and also too. Well, you can jump in because you again, you're a tenured professor. You've seen on the front lines the whole thing about affirmative action. Like, you may have experienced it yourself, but you've seen how it's impacted the African American students. Whatever you want to say, we're ready.
So it's interesting because I have this conversation with colleagues all the time, especially my colleagues that I graduated from Howard with. And well, first of all, I'm not a tenured professor.
Oh, you're not. Sorry, correct.
Yes.
HU.
You know. So we have this conversation quite a bit. In fact, I was having a conversation with my good friend from the PhD program yesterday, and we were talking about the return on investment, especially for Black women when it comes to pursuing advanced degrees. And one of the things I said is, and often we're not paying for this out of pocket. We are taking loans that most people will never pay back in their life. You're not going to pay this back because the reality is you're not going to make the amount of money you need to adequately pay it back. So in some cases, depending on what, especially with graduate school, depending on where you went, what your degree is in, that determines how much you're in the hole for. And for some people, it's like $250,000 or more. How are you going to pay that back as a professor of the social sciences? Okay, you never will. How are you going to pay that back, even if you with medical school? Still, You can't. So the thing is, my friend said this, that Dr. Nikita Harris, she said, because we were taught that student loan debt is good debt. So we all bought into the dream of, well, that's okay to take on this, get $1 million in aid because it's good debt. Debt is debt, my dear. Debt is debt. And the thing is, we also didn't have people to sit. Now, again, for me, it's a little bit of a different case. I was not a first generation college student. I'm Dr. Egwu II. So I kind of had a different background, but thinking about people who may be first generation college students, right? First generation in this country, maybe, and first generation college students, and you're buying into all of this. People that are well-meaning are saying, oh yeah, well, you're supposed to get as much education as you want. But do you really need a PhD to do? No, you don't. No. So we bought into the thing that more education equals more opportunity, and that's not always the case.
No,
not at all.
No. And there's something also to be said about trade schools, guys. Let me tell you something. Yes. Most of America is melting right now. Who's killing it? The AC people. Okay? So there is nothing wrong with going to trade school.
But they got rid of so many of them. Like it's really, and unfortunately, you know, people don't make enough money to even afford a trade school. And they need to help them if they want to give any kind of loan to give money for the trade school. They'll probably see a little bit more money back for a guy wanting to be a plumber versus, you know, that money, because, you know, plumbers make really good money. Sorry. I mean, sometimes I'm be like, marry a plumber over a doctor, you know, no, really. And now that DeSantis is cutting that lifetime alimony, I'm sorry.
we're getting to that. Okay.
No, but it's like the trade schools, they don't really make it, you know, it's so funny. Like you look at some of the biggest entrepreneurs as frequency event promotions brought up, but there, you know, we're talking about people being able to live their lives and sustain themselves. Entrepreneurship for me is like so aspirational. It's like when I look at someone like a Martha Stewart, or I look at someone like an Oprah Winfrey, and I go, wow, they really took something. These were women that did some crazy stuff with very, you know, and finding the market and whatever. And they inspired all these dumb men out there. The men were actually on the Johnny the Late Freight, as far as I'm concerned. The women were killing it for a while because we had to. We had to, as Dr. Tachi said, you find the way, like you just do. So when you give us an education, you know, somewhere I feel the patriarchy is involved in stifling and pushing women back again. With education, we all know the Christian Taliban is like in America is really into pushing women out of the picture again. And then following with LGBTQ, because we know you guys told me that they benefit from affirmative action as well.
Okay, so
may I? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, absolutely, Dr. Jesse. Go ahead.
I think the thing is too, part of the biggest problem, especially with women, is that the oppressor always has collaborators amongst the oppressed.
Yes.
And so some of the biggest collaborators of the oppressor are women themselves. If you just listen to the discourse and you listen to the talk around that, and it doesn't matter in terms of ethnic background, you hear people that are upholding and supporting the edicts that oppressors and oppressive systems put in place. And so they really don't have to do very much to keep those in place because we do a good enough job ourselves. They've trained you well. Congratulations. You're upholding their edicts. So I think that's a big problem as well, you know, beyond the fact that these things exist. When you were just, and I know we're getting to DeClantis in a minute, but you look at DeClantis, and he has so much. Well, I'm sorry, Satan. Is that better?
Okay, all right. When Jill laughs like that, you know you've hit a good. Okay, let me just catch up on comments, and we'll get to okay. So Fitness IQ Camp says if everyone is an entrepreneur boss, and no one will be an employee for those entrepreneur bosses. Regina says My Dutch friend despises the fact that the U.S. ignores the safety net 95% of the people need and want. He won't even visit here anymore.
I mean, Dr.
Frequency
Vine,
of-
just on that note alone, you know, a lot of that everyone's like going, oh my God, everybody is having a mental health issue or mental whatever. We were talking earlier about just having leaky gut. Leaky gut causes disorientation. It messes with the brain. It messes with there's so many people in this country who can't afford good food, a good diet. They're running around. This is the 95%. This is not a nurturing country. You would look at it and go, we could solve this. These people just need so much more concern. You've got old ladies delivering at DoorDash.
Yes.
You know, I can't believe that if a 80-year-old woman comes to my door, you know, and I mean, what does that say about my country? That my daughter and I look, she goes, it's disgusting that this is okay for us to see. And it says a lot about American people. Like, wow, what a greedy bunch of fucking bitches we are, because that should be intolerable. Intolerable.
You see that here too in Florida.
It's
Obviously,
awful.
there's a lot of there are a lot of retirees, right? So your thing is there are a lot of people that moved down here from New York. In fact, they call it the sixth borough. Moved down here from places like Boston during the pandemic. Other places were expensive. You've got people here now from different places that have, like, you know, retired. But now you see them working in Publix. You see them working DoorDash.
Walmart.
They were retired, right?
Yes.
But they can't afford not to work. That tells you something.
It's
That tells you
horrific.
Florida
It's
is
horrific.
alive.
All right. Okay, we got to move on here, folks.
Sorry.
We haven't hit the other stuff, so let's continue on. Frequency event promotions says, I agree with you all. Regina says, yes, intergenerational student debt is what will be inherited. Fitness IQ Cam says about tuition, big education in the States, biggest scam. Frequency event promotions, I'm not going to go to your question because that'll take another half an hour. Fitness IQ Cam says, yes, don't sleep on the blue collar folks. Also, Regina says, and let us not forget the students who have to drop out and still owe student loans with no degree. And then Regina also says you can get an electrician certification in 1 year. It costs about $15,000.
Well, frequency, you can ask that in our Discord group.
Yes.
So make sure you join.
And
but
actually,
I mean, let's not forget another big issue is that you have, I find this to be incredibly offensive too, that all of a sudden people who are going out for jobs are totally, if they don't show a degree on their stuff, they don't even get looked at. So that's another thing that people, you don't need a degree to answer a fucking phone. I'm sorry. And I will never stand by that. There is something to be said for having actual conversation. And then I heard that if you make sure you put that you're Alaskan or you have a few, you'll get interviews.
Okay.
Alaskan or Pacific Islander, it's one of them.
We'll continue onward in our conversation.
That's just some craziness. That's another, it bypasses the little machine. I don't know. You have to go, hi, I'm a Pacific Islander and Alaskan, and I've been really looking at your company and thinking I wanted a job or whatever, you know. I not long ago, like a couple of years ago after the pandemic, you know, looking for another job. And I was having an interview on Zoom, and this young girl comes on and she's like, hey, so anyway, you'll be doing this and this, and the job is sort of like whatever. And I'm like sitting there, and then she goes, does this sound like something that would interest you? And I kid you guys not, I just went, no. Not at all.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, frequency event promotions for folks who have gone the traditional route in securing degree education, introvert, extrovert, and now working in a survival job versus their career job. What do you recommend or suggest for such persons? We'll take that up on Discord, please. Yeah. Thank you. And actually, LaLa and Jill are in the Discord room right now. So if you send me your email, folks, you can get answers to those questions. So this is how you join. Again, I'm going to put it on the screen. Email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. Jill will be back in just a moment, but we're going to go to our next conversation topic because we could be here forever. We will be here forever. Next up, Marjorie Taylor Greene getting removed from the U.S. House of Freedom Caucus.
Oh, camel toes gets to be punished a little bit.
Talk about it, LaLa.
This woman. I can't stand this woman. First of all, she should have been, and she should be pulled, period, and punished she should be silenced, just like they silence our people, because she threatens people. She'll come at people and argue and call them all sorts of names, know nothing about them, then get up and walk out. That has nothing to do with these caucuses and these things that she's sitting on. She is nothing but a bully. She's a Trump Jr. And she shouldn't, first of all, I don't give me a reason why she's there, but oh well, she's still there. But she should be punished for the way she is representing our country, because this is not how you do it. Her and Bobblehead both need to go.
Anyone want to add to that?
I have to say that, when I heard about it, I was like, oh, Marjorie, like, she's not radical enough for the fringe right anymore. I mean, like, wow, they kicked her out. Because it would be one thing if they kicked her out because they thought she was despicable, but
right.
She wasn't despicable enough. Right. So I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I had told you all, I saw Marjorie was fixing her, getting a little Botox, getting a little filler put in, changing her style. There was some kind of assimilation happening with her, and I wasn't the only one who noticed. Apparently her crazies did, and they don't like it, because when she stepped to Lauren Boebert, and I also said that little dumb GED graduate failed like 4 times, but there's
look at Dr. Tachi.
I was like, that one is brilliant. That one is the mastermind. Like, she can't do a puzzle, but she's really like, figures it all out. She's got some street sense, that woman. And she knew how to play Marjorie. And when Marjorie called her a bitch on the floor, they said that was trying to float and straddle the fence with Kevin McCarthy, that was the end of her. So I'm curious. Now she's starting to say, I'm defending the Northern Georgian people and whatever, but I'm real curious to see what her next move is going to be, because Boebert, Bobo, figured out how to snuff her out. Boebert's like a little Jack Russell.
She really is.
Yeah, so I would not sleep on her. And I think that Marjorie...
Don't count her out.
Marjorie did, and got played. She played herself.
All right. Frequency Event Promotion says, great discussion here. Well, it's here every Saturday night, so I don't know where you've been. Regina says, told ya, she'll be pulled from everything. She is a cockroach, allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
And then Frequency Event says, Jill, you are hilarious. She's smart too, by the way. You want me to share the Discord email?
We've all known a girl like that in our offices. We all have known a Marjorie and also a Lauren.
Oh God,
yes. We've all sat back and been like going.
Ooh, yeah. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead, Dr. T.
This is a good time for us to just sit back and wait for them to destroy themselves.
Yeah,
this is what I'm saying, because I mean, really, we have I have no bull in this fight here. I don't care. So I just sit back and wait for them to destroy themselves, because eventually it will happen. Here's the thing. Everything that they do is predicated on hatred, extreme hatred, to the point that it manifests itself within their group.
Yeah,
it manifests within their group. It's not just outwards, right? Eventually, it manifests within the group. It kind of reminds me. Did you all ever read the book Lord of the Flies?
Oh, God, yes.
I loved it. Okay, and I love the movie too.
Exactly, right? So I think every 8th grader read and then watched the movie. Eventually, you're all one at first, but eventually they start to hunt each other.
Yeah,
This
they
is
do.
a classic Lord of the Flies case. So all we have to do is just wait. Eventually, the Lord of the Flies will make them. Yes,
So
exactly.
true. So true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So definitely. So again, frequency, you got my email address, but I'm putting up there. That's how you join the group. Email me. We'll get you in tonight as soon as possible. So Marjorie, it's going to be interesting to see what her next move allegedly will be. So let's get to the state.
Probably don't make bars of soap.
Okay, we're moving to the next. Let's talk about the state that Dr. Tachi is in and LaLa used to be in.
Oh,
the governor there signed a bill to eliminate permanent alimony in Florida. Who wants to?
This goes back to women who, I mean, I don't know. Just tell me, is he going to do Harikari at the end of all of this because on his sword? Because I don't know what DeSantis' strategy. Who is he appealing to? Like
his wife
and the man. Yeah, right. But this is where we don't care about society. It's like there are women who, I think every woman in Palm Beach just like went and like threw a dart at his face after that. Like lifetime alimony going away. Melania is trying to figure out where else to move. She's like, wait a minute. And maybe that's it. Maybe is Donald Trump getting divorced and he just opened up that door? You know, they all do little favors. Are they making sure that little old Melania is going to get stiffed at the end of it all? Because I'm sorry, y'all, this is crazy. It was like suicide. Like, it's just like career. Like, what are you doing? Do you not know who your constituents are? But this dude
doesn't care.
Look, get him a show on Broadway. Let's bring back Kinky.
What is it?
He doesn't want to be governor. Clearly, he wants to be an actor.
Maybe they can bring back Spider-Man. What is it? Spider-Man, Thief of the Night, whatever. The one that goes on Broadway. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this guy is so whack. I can't even alimony after maybe somebody had been married to somebody and they're a doctor and there were sacrifices made along the way. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
This may be insane.
You know, here's the thing. Okay, nothing DeSatan or DeClantis does at all. He is. I'm sorry. He can. You say whatever. He is satanic.
Yeah, he is.
Is so DeClantis. Whatever he does doesn't surprise me. However, these things are never a good thing. But in this case here, I think it's making people wake up. Florida has been asleep at I don't know if it's the heat. I don't know if it's the alligators, but they have been asleep for years. People just lay and I've never seen a state like this in my life. That's why I'm here. And I always tell people always say, oh, we haven't seen you in a while. I'm like, that's because I try to stay incognito because I can't.
So true.
I just stay incognito here. Because I can't. I've never seen groups of people that were, and I'll give you a really quick example. Recently, we had, what was it, last year, 2 years ago, there was an election. So there were a number of Black elected officials. This was when Elsie Hastings' seat was up after he passed away. And so Elsie Hastings' seat was open. So instead of the Black elected officials here in South Florida getting together and saying, which one of us is going to be the best in that seat? They all ran for it because they all wanted to say, and so now we have none of them. So I said, well, good for you. That's exactly what you get. So only one person can win. So that's what you get. So there's a lack of unified thought and a lack of unity. So when these things start to happen, I'm like, well, maybe now you'll unify. Maybe losing an election and all 8 of you not having positions anymore was not enough. But maybe now you all will start to take voting seriously. Maybe now you'll start to take some action. Maybe now you'll stop with the lip service and just comments on social media and actually do something.
I just don't see Florida doing it.
They're
I don't
not.
see Florida.
sorry.
And that,
I shouldn't
there's
say
some county, that Imperial or that one area that's like, it's just, there's some rough patches, and it's the South. I mean, I'm just
It
going to
is.
say it. It's the
It is.
South, and it has some people that you feel like you're Juneteenth all over again, like going, hey, slavery's over. Like it's like, it feels like that. I mean, there's some
Exactly.
places down there that you're like, oh shit, do these Black people know that they're free? Like, because a lot of times people don't. I've been down south where I've had some unfortunately bad situations where there are some really downtrodden places where people have beaten Black people's confidence down, and they won't look me in the eye. They think I'm white.
Yep.
And they're like, hey, Miss so-and-so. I've been in that situation, and it's shocking and it's sickening that it still exists. Sorry. It's like, I don't want to tread or make waves. I don't want to be seen, and I'm Black. And that to me is pretty fucked up. So fuck Florida and fuck them, because I really believe, I don't have any faith in what they've done. It's been a slow grind, like, putting people's brains through a meat grinder, that they don't feel they have the strength anymore. And Florida succeeded in that. They've got Cubans believing that they're white. I just don't know. It's crazy as fuck.
So LaLa, you left Florida. Dr. Tachi, you're still in Florida.
Yeah. We'll see for how much longer.
Well, I mean, I still have a foot there, because I still have my business there, and we still have things going on there. So I'm back and forth between 3-4 different states and here. But I will tell you that the area that I was in predominantly is the Melbourne area, and that's close to Orlando. And that was, believe it or not, put together by 3 Black men. That was discovered by 3 Black men. And it is the most racist place. I don't like to go outside.
Right.
I didn't, first of all, the weather for one, and I'm scared to death of alligators. And yes, I did see an alligator in the neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah.
But when you talk about, I call them the Bubba trucks, they are everywhere with the support the scientists, Trump next time, fuck Biden. You see that everywhere you go. And it does become like what Jill said, because at some point, you just want to put your head down and be like, you know what? I can't.
Don't notice
somebody's going to go take me off into the woods. And they don't know. Like Jill and I talk about this all the time. They don't know what I am.
No.
Most of the time, they'll say shit to me because they think they're in good company, and they have no idea that it's me. It's just like that lady I told y'all about at the DMV. Went to get my license. She went through the whole thing. Okay, female, blah, blah, blah. Where do you live? Okay, she's Caucasian. I said, no, African-American.
Yeah.
She was absolutely horrified.
And
she looked at me like, oh, but you look white, so you shouldn't say. And I just stood there as big as day with her fake boobs and her little let's go shoot our guns. And
Dr. Tachi, you can leave
woman.
anytime you want, by the way.
For me, I will never in this country ever be comfortable in the South, ever, considering, the beginning pangs of where we are today was James Byrd, June 7th, in 2010, I believe, or 2009. Remember, they in Texas gave 2 Big Bubba guys, 3 of them gave him a ride, and then they took him in the woods and they defecated on him. They pulled his hair off, and they did whatever they had to do, and they beat him, and then they tied him to the back of their truck, and they dragged him until his head was decapitated. I will never fucking understand those white people. And then they were proud after they were they were the first men to be given the lethal injection. Lethal injection? That was nice.
Yeah, you got it.
Why they drive them on the back of a truck? But before the guy, one of the guys, the murderers, he said a Sig Heil, you know, which is like, are you kidding? So also we're in these situations, even in these prisons, they are still there. They are there. The vermin is there. I can't get over that. I will never get over people. This just happened not long ago. This man suffered. They said he was trying to hold his head up to try to survive this. And then they hit a bump. And that's how the coroner said that how his head got ripped off. You know, for me, I will never forgive that of this country. And that I can't believe that American Black people celebrate July 4th. It's beyond me. Why the fuck do you go out there like an asshole, buy burgers and chips and everything to fuel and fund fucking white people's businesses? Are you fucking out of, I mean, what kind of fucking sick indoctrination is that? I mean,
it's indoctrination.
The oppressor.
Exactly
You're going to fucking feed the oppressor after they fucked you down so much? No, thank you. No, I will not.
Can I add really quickly? Sure. I think that, you know, it's we all know the people flying the rebel flag, the huge rebel flag on their pickup trucks, and we know what they're about. But I think the more dangerous ones are the ones that are like the people that come and fix your air condition, and they're really nice, and you know them, and they're like, and then it's just one day they happen to say, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And they think because you're friendly and with you, or they're friendly with you, that you agree with them. I just say nothing because I'm like, I don't have the strength or the energy to spend on the likes of you.
I totally understand you, but be careful.
Yeah, no, you have to be. That's the thing. You totally have to be careful because those types are more dangerous. At least you know Bubba, as you call them. You know what their MO is.
They pretended to be very friendly with him. They pretended. So I don't even celebrate Thanksgiving anymore either. It's the same thing for me. I refuse.
And nobody should fault people of color if we don't celebrate these holidays because they do not celebrate us.
But we ain't American. We're American.
I'm not going to feed Walmart or feed, supermarkets that didn't give a shit. And no, thank you. No.
All right. Next conversation topic. 45 doxing Barack Obama.
You know what?
And this is
Trump did that. And I'll tell you something, that his ass should have been thrown in jail. I'm sorry. That's fucking wrong. That's wrong. And this is why. This is it. I just don't get it. How are you gonna and then a guy showed up with how many rounds?
Explosives, all sorts of things. And he was on his way to do the job.
They need to Hannibal Lecter Donald Trump. Put a thing over him and tie him to a fucking chair. It's ridiculous. That was really just awful. You don't do that. You don't play games because, he wants to keep playing. He's going to fuck around and find out, that the other people, he's not the only person in the world here. And that's what's crazy to me. He thinks he's the only person. And his people think they're the only people too. I'm like, oh, you bitches. Somebody said to me, wow, will they ever learn their lesson? I said, no, they never learned the lesson because they never got taught the lesson.
No.
But I think that there's part of the thing that there are people who always comply. So the whole doxing thing started from produce your birth certificate.
Yes.
So it started with that. When you comply with these terrorists, there's never an end to it.
No.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, was there not a birth certificate produced?
It was, but then it became, no, that's not real.
No,
exactly.
And it's so interesting. It was so real that it looked like Barack and I are born like a year apart. And sorry, that's how they made birth certificates. Mine was the same thing. Actually, mine from back in the day has the nerve to have illegitimate wrote on it.
What?
What?
Wow.
Yeah. Illegitimate. for the father. Parents weren't married.
Wow.
It was 1952. So people
Wow.
forget their history. That's why we have dumb questions in America. White people are stupid because nobody told them. You bitches don't know. Well, black people knew. Wow, there was a time when black and white people it was against the law to even be together. But
Clarence
most
Thomas.
Americans with their highfalutin Yale selves and Harvard selves, didn't know shit. The reality is y'all stay stupid then and keep asking them. And you're right. Maybe he shouldn't have ever been complicit. But that's before we didn't know that these people were so goddamn stupid.
Absolutely.
I mean, literally.
Really,
like,
if it was not required for anything you do, who is Cheeto Satan?
There was a little
nobody.
Box. It said illegitimate. And now they've since, people don't know. Now when you go and you want it again, they've taken all that. They've update your shit. That's what they do. But the one in my grandmother's chest, it made me feel like I had a Jewish star on my jacket as a little girl going to fucking school and having to fill out that I didn't have a dad.
Mm-hmm.
It was like shame. And the white people did that.
Disgusting.
Anyone else want to add before we move on to our next conversation topic?
He's not going to stop. We know this. We're all upset about it. We know about it, but this man is literally putting people in the line of the firing line.
You come from my Obama. We got a
problem.
My fat ass is up and ready. This is not it. No.
I think too, let me speak as a journalist, as news media, stop giving Cheeto Satan, or some people call him 45, so much airtime.
Thank you.
This just fuels the flames of misinformation, disinformation, and rubbish. And half of the time, the reason that they said, oh, he said XYZ. Does it have to do anything with his official, with the charges? No, then why are you reporting it? So really, you are giving him the audience he wants.
And that's what he wants.
That's exactly what he wants.
Thrives on that.
Foolish.
Just like they planted his old cocaine
into his agenda. Yeah, so I think news media has to be smarter. Right. If it is not 100% the public's business and right to know, why are you reporting on it? A horse got caught in a ditch someplace. That's better news than reporting on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, true. And it's all for entertainment purposes, guys. We're ready to go sing songs.
Yeah.
For entertainment purposes. I'm ready. Don't mess with my Obama, though.
You're right.
Okay, April Watson says, I live in Tampa and I don't vote for none of their dumb blank. All right.
I know. Right?
All right. And by the way, Frequency Event Promotions, I've just sent you an email with a link to join the Discord group. So we're waiting for you. Got it. Last conversation topic. Ironically, who was it? Jill, you mentioned 4th of July, and you had us want to talk about this story. Native American costume causes controversy.
I don't know if you guys saw it. They had people in Iowa doing their stupid parades, and they had a girl dressed as a Native American and in a costume chained to somebody pulling her behind a horse. And there were people who sat there complicit. They weren't horrified. They're clapping and laughing because this is what simple-minded people do. People with 2 teeth in their head and no prospects. This is what they do. And I think that really, Iowa is a main electorate place where, look at this. It's disgusting. And, they've apologized, but here's the problem.
Oh, fuck the apologies. I'm tired of that.
I want to see somebody put their microphone down and go, get off, leave right now. That's what we want to see. Not like, oh my God, clutch my pearls. How long? They let them walk the parade. You mean to tell me nobody came out there and said, no, you bitches got to go. Bye. Get off. See, that's why nobody takes Iowa seriously as people. None of them. Look at all these idiots lined up. None of them. Why would you take any of them seriously as human beings? We don't. They or their staff or their government. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but
What
that's
was the
always their
purpose?
stance. I'm sorry. I'm tired of I'm sorry.
What was the purpose? Did anybody have? If somebody can demonstrate a clear-cut purpose, perhaps I will entertain an argument. But what was the purpose?
When I grew up, these people are the same people who used to have cross burnings. That's them. It's to these are the people that would look at my Uncle Howard funny when we would go walking down somewhere. This is who they are. They're Ku Klux Klan people. They are white supremacists. They want you to know we run it. We're running it. And it's so interesting. They're finding so much loyalty amongst, solidarity. It's crazy. And this time we can see their faces. So I personally think that we need to play this game a little bit differently.
The way we're playing it is not working. So
No.
No.
I'm literally sitting here sick to my stomach.
I think there should be billboards of these people's faces. I think it should flash across, there should be, if any of them, these rich people that we have in our community, they should be doxxed. They should be somewhere. I mean, there's some great people out there doing the work, but the people should be removed from that parade event. The fact that my ass would have been up there, like, no, y'all got to go. Turn that horse around.
Here's the thing. I think the only language people understand now is loss of money. So that's the only thing that works. Legislation never works because you cannot legislate hearts and minds. They don't care. And then they'll just roll it back when they get in people in office that work for them. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't work. What works is, oh, really? I'm sorry. Who are the sponsors of this? Great. Total boycott. None of you all are getting money. It has to go back to that where they lose money, where they're not able to make rent, where they're not able, and I don't give a damn. You can live on the streets then. When it comes to that point where they're that destitute, that's the only way they'll change. And it still doesn't mean that they like you and really respect you, but it hits them where it hurts, and that's the only thing.
The saddest part in towns like that, those towns already exist. They probably don't have any Black people there. Their businesses are already preparing to not serve you. So it's going to be a very interesting change here, because it's like, who's going to break up with who first? And personally, I'm about no, thank you. I think it's more about hitting tourism and hitting business people who have to go and do business in Iowa, because the boycotts just people don't have they don't have the spine to not go to Walmart. I haven't gone to Walmart in years. I fucking hate that place. I need something for my tofu to drain it, but I'll be damned if I do it there. No. But these are things that are personal to me. Amazon is another one. I have a friend. She hasn't used Amazon for years. We all have something, but we'd have to give up everything in here. But I think
it's true.
One thing for America is tourism. You start to hit their tourist areas. You start to say, don't go here, don't go there. The big money makers,
Exactly. It's like, you may be nice, and that's nice, but you sat idly by while this woman was chained and walked. Right. So you did nothing. So you are complicit. So you get boycotted too. You all are guilty. If you're not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. If you sat by and watched this happen and just, oh, what a shame. Sorry, you're complicit. You get all of you are included. So once everybody is included to that level, because here's the thing, it's not impossible. And like you said, it would be everything. But I remember very well, I think if there are issues that people really care about, you'll see. So of course, I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta, and there was a deplorable reality show that they had on, I can't remember, it was VH1.
I remember.
It was Mona Scott Young, who was the producer of it. And so everyone on there was a member of a D9 sorority. The way they portrayed these women was just despicable. We were like, oh, hell no. Right. We got together and pressured every single one of the advertisers for that show, they pulled the show because nobody would advertise next to it. So I think if it's an issue that people care enough about,
right,
I think something like everybody boycott Walmart, like you're saying, is too arbitrary. It has to be more specific, and there has to be something that's actionable at the end that we can see. Now, will it happen? I don't know, but I'd love to see it happen.
So Kathy Kruger says, as if Native Americans didn't live here before us.
Are you
quote,
silent?
Americans, unquote.
Or is it me?
No, it's you.
But see,
it's me. Okay.
Here's the thing about Americans and Native Americans. Their descendants don't care. It's pretty clear. They don't care. They must have been like really chopping it up every Thanksgiving about all the heinous shit they've done because their descendants don't care. And, you know, they are still colonizers. White people are still colonizers. Sorry to say. They haven't changed. And it just is more proof to show you that they won't change in America. They won't. Homelessness is not going to change. None of it's going to change. None of it. Guns, none of it. It's going to become so bad. Like I look out and go, wow, America's a big fucking shanty town. I thought I was in like some place off of like in South Africa. And they don't care because rich people have their walls, their gated communities. It's getting just like Elon's South Africa. You know, beautiful skies, beautiful. But holy shit. Holy fucking shit.
So is America worth fighting for? Just asking.
I don't think this is where I've been asked this. I have a couple of really good girlfriends that we talk about this, and at my point, I'm going to be very honest. No, for me, I need to be a light somewhere. I don't feel like that I'm in any type of light there. I tried to be. I tried to serve my community as best as possible. But at this point, I feel that America is going to have to burn. You've all heard me say before, it's going to have to burn all the way down. It's historically written in all countries. Rome fell, all these places. America needs to fall, and it needs to be rebuilt in a totally different way. I don't see that happening in my lifetime. Doesn't mean that I don't care about my country. It just means that I ain't got a dog in this fight right now. And that's how I feel.
It's because leadership. If you look at us as like, yes, we spent a lot of time like criticizing our country before, like, oh, back in the day, and we did so many horrible, heinous things. Other countries have done heinous shit too. I mean, I can't jump on the boat like, oh, America did this. I mean, they've all done awful, awful, awful things. I mean, it's just, where do you start? However, when it comes to leadership abilities, there is something happening in the spirit and nature with countries and their leaders not knowing how to lead. I mean, right now we're all sitting on pins and needles. Are they going to blow up the dam with nuclear energy in Ukraine? I mean, it's like It never stops, but we are at some kind of pivotal thing that something is going to propel something major, whether we want to or not, to really reaffirm and look at ourselves.
We
aren't leadership material. Sorry.
I'll just add in something because I just like to manage the ship. And welcome Frequency Event Promotions to the Discord group, by the way. You just joined. A number of years ago, Dr. Tachi, you know this lady, LaLa World Travel.
Yeah.
And at the time, for those who don't know her, LaLa is a soror, I think, of Dr. Tachi, I think.
Yes.
And she, long story short, she works for the American government. She's a expat or a pat, as they say, and she travels all around the world. And when I first had her on this platform, she was in Chile. And I asked her, LaLa, do you ever want to move back to America? She said, no, because I don't feel safe raising my children in America. This was years ago.
They took that away from us.
Right. This is years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Nobody because that's what I say. Check yourself. Because there is a big world out here and there are opportunities for you.
You don't have to stay where you're oppressed, period. You don't have to. No one told you just because you were born in one country that you can't travel the world and see this beautiful world that God has put here for you. That's my personal opinion. I'm one of those who believe in a higher power, but he didn't put you there to be stagnant and oppressed. You have a talent and you have a journey that has been assigned to you. Pick it up and take it where you can shine your light the brightest. That may not be America.
Okay. All right. I think that's a good closing comment on this epic conversation. And want to say thank you to all the ladies. And Dr. Tachi, can you give us an update on Indie Soup Media?
Absolutely.
Actually, you know what? Yeah. You should tell people about it, because I don't think most people, pardon me, who are watching this even know about Indie Soup Media. So this is your time. Shine.
We'll get to know it. Get to know about it. So Indie Soup Media is an OTT network. OTT stands for over the top, and web network that is the heart of the independent content creator. We are there to give shine and give a platform to content creators that have great content, but just never get recognized or get a larger platform. And so right now we have about 34 creators amongst about 27 shows, probably more at this point, a reach of 1 million, and it's apps, and we haven't even launched yet, which is absolutely amazing. So we are going to be we're in several different areas. So lifestyle, arts and entertainment, business, education and tech, and then global issues. So programming falls within one of those four, and that's a pretty broad umbrella. So we're going to be AVOD, or advertising video on demand. So think of a Netflix where you can pick a program at any point you want. Also live linear. So anytime you come there, there will be live content going on. Will also be a learning platform called Indie Soup Learn, where creators can teach their craft and you can get video courses. And then it's also going to be a live audio and podcasting platform. So those are the four aspects of that. And we will be distributed via our website, also indiesoupmedia.com, also on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, on Roku. And we're really excited about building out a space in the metaverse, spatial. So we're going to be in Web3 as well. So that's a little bit about Indie Soup Media.
Great.
Love it.
Thank you.
I am here for it.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, look, again, want to thank all the ladies. Well, the comments are flying in. Frequency says, great show. Jen, fabulous as always. Leslie McEwen from Ottawa. We still asking to have you on, Leslie. Black psychotherapist for the last 30 plus years. Would love to have her come on the platform, but I hope you're doing fine. So before we let the ladies, as Dr. I'm seeing a Dr. Touch here, exit stage left, we want to just share, buddy, on how they can get a hold of us. So I'm just going to do this. And then first up, Dr. Tachi, they're going to get your contact information here.
Yes, at Dr._Tachi. That is most places, including YouTube, including TikTok. But Instagram is probably the best way to reach me because I'm there all the time.
And again, tell people about Mediascope.
Thank you for reminding me. Mediascope is all things media, tech, and pop culture, a live stream that we are. July 29th is going to be the 8th anniversary of Mediascope. And we, again, talk about all things media, tech, and pop culture, 6 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitch, LinkedIn. And also 5 p.m. right before on Instagram, we do a live pre-show. So that's Wednesday, every Wednesday. So join us. It's a lot of fun.
And also you're on in the Caribbean too.
Thank you. I have a lot in my head. So yes, we are also on 107.1 FM, Gospel 107.1 FM in Nassau, Bahamas, and the rest of the Caribbean.
Ooh.
So that is the Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern is the replay of what we do on Wednesdays. So if you happen to be in the Caribbean and you listen to Gospel 107, you can find Mediascope there as well.
Great.
Dr. Tachi, thank you as always. Really appreciate having you on. And you know, the mic is always open. The ladies absolutely love you. And we love you too. So I'm doing whatever I can to help Dr. Tachi. We had a conversation this afternoon. I said, I'm going in, Dr. Tachi. And I am providing her some help and hopefully providing some more help with the launch of Indie Student Media. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, LaLa.
I don't know how to follow up with that. I'm just little LaLa. And you can catch me at Realty Goddess on all social media because I'm addicted.
Oh, and I guess we have to add not only Instagram, Twitter, and Threads.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Next up, the immortal Jill D.
Okay, so that's me on Twitter, which I kind of check in not as much as I used to now that I'm over on Threads, but it's still Jill Jones Music on Instagram and on Threads, so you can find me at either one.
Actually, you know what? I'm actually going to bring everybody back up because I want to do something here. I would like, since I love to, Dr. Tachi is my go-to person. She has a associate named Terry Johnson, who they are go-to people when it comes to media and social media. Dr. Tachi, give us your thoughts on this Thread app.
Ooh, oh boy. So yeah, I am over on Threads. It feels, first of all, the thing for people who like Twitter is it's not Twitter. So I think that was a big draw. The fact that it's not Twitter. It's a clean interface. It's already connected to something most people have, Instagram. So there's that draw. As far as it being, people are like, oh, it's going to be the Twitter killer. It started just a few days ago. Slow your roll. I think it's too early to say what's going to happen. We all remember an app called Clubhouse that everybody was like, oh, this is going to be the app of the century. And where is it now? People still use it, but not to the extent that they did before. So the question is this really something that's going to revolutionize short form blogging and updates, or is this just another shiny, pretty thing that people will forget about in a couple of weeks? Mm-hmm. And the jury is still out. But if we look at how people use apps, this could just be Threads tomorrow, or it could blow up. We don't know.
I think he's going to help people make that paper. And because Elon was killing everybody's paper, people who NPR had to leave. I mean, these are people that really were relying, certain people who have like those stacks and all these things. And it's like, I can rely and look up like Politico or whatever and see something, or Joy Reid, and go, here it is. This is it. This is a person who is reputable or legit. Sometimes I'd be on Twitter and go, who the hell is this with a blue check mark? And it's like, howdy doody himself, like Bubba 1, Bubba 2. So it was becoming like, oh, they're experts. I started to really get a lot of sense that it was just white supremacist. I felt it. It felt like walking down a street in Ohio. It just started to be like, ugh, I don't like this.
So on that
note, you're right. It could be a shiny object, but I do know that they've already been rolling out things to help some of these companies that were putting stuff out and have their followers, that at least you can rely on getting the information there without the bots.
True. Yeah. Really quickly, remember, it's still meta. It is still meta, regardless of the fact that it looks to be. We still see that F showing underneath your sheep's clothing.
True.
We still see it.
That's true.
So just buyer beware with that one.
I think the reason with the whole medical stuff that the information is because we know many of the billionaires now have moved into that area. They're buying and building clinics. Jeff Bezos, even Mark, that basketball guy, Mark, whatever his
Cuban.
name. Yeah.
Cuban.
They're all doing medical. That they're going to essentially put hospitals out of business. So that is exactly what I thought when I was like, oh, this is what they want. This is what the pitch is going to be. There's an ultimate reason for this.
So just one last thing before I let the ladies exit. If you are watching this on or before July 10th at 9 a.m., Dr. Tachi is going to be on the Morning Vibe this Monday at 9 a.m. So she will be going deeper dive and giving a big thought process on what's going on in media, tech, and pop culture. She'll be talking about threads. She'll be talking about Twitter. Anything else you may be chatting about on Monday morning?
Oh, what? Look, I'm always following what's happening. So the latest thing that comes down the pipe, we'll talk about.
Right. It could be anything.
Could be anything.
Absolutely. All right. Well, ladies, remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Thank you for another epic conversation.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Here we go. There we go. One more. Bye, Dr. Tachi. Get some rest, hey? All right. So before we shut it down, Jen Myers, fabulous show as always. I said that earlier. Frequency event promotions. Thanks, Jill, LaLa, and Dr. Tachi and Vibe. My pleasure. So Beatbox Poet, bless. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. So a few things before we shut it down for the evening or the night of wherever you're watching this. You can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You can also watch it on my website, thedrvibeshow.com. What are the things we're going to do? Some house things we like to do. You can, again, like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. And then please like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Yes, yes, yes. And another person did it tonight. Join the State of Things Discord group with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa. They're very active. And now another one person tonight. Please email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And family, remember what I said at the beginning of this conversation? We're going to be hitting 2 hours. We're almost there. Then we could have went longer. But this is how we're going to end it off as always. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And one additional last thing. If you are following this affirmative action situation in the U.S., if you know who Joy Reid is, she's on MSNBC. She posted there was someone who posted comments about when she got, I know, was it Harvard or Yale? I don't know which school she went into, but even when she got admitted, she talked about the pushback she got from non-melanated students in her class about her getting in. And the funny thing is, she was asked by the school to come. She didn't beg to get in there. So it's going to continue onward. So God bless, peace, well, keep the faith. And you know what? I have to say this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace. And don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Join the Discord group. We're back. We are back, and we're coming better than ever. God bless. Peace out. Keep the faith and walk good. And thanks again if you're watching live or on the replay.